My name is Dottie Bean, and I am now a resident of Farmington and have been for 25 years. I'm not a native of Farmington. I was born and brought up in New Jersey and went to Boston to work, thinking I would stay a year or so, and stayed about 30 years. Stayed on there until I had some family issues. Came to Farmington, where my parents had retired. They'd moved up here from New Jersey. My father was born in this house, so he's the native. But anyway, I came up here to look out for my mother, and then she passed away. But in the meantime, I had to quit my job, and so I retired in my early 50s without any plans to do anything like that, and here I am, stuck in the wilderness of Farmington. And the first thing I had to do was have a major timber harvest. So that was a whole new job for me that I had never had any experience with. So that was my baptism as far as being in Farmington. And I had started going to the Historical Society, thinking that I could get my mother interested in it. Well, she passed away, but I got interested in it. And by being in the Historical Society, I started to learn a little bit about Farmington and know the people. And I found all these old pictures in the museum that nobody had ever done anything with. And so I got some advice about it from some people and got the brilliant idea that we would put a book together. And that was the first thing that I did for the town of Farmington, was to get the pictorial book of Farmington done. And I enlisted the aid of Norma Park and Dorinda Howard, who was the librarian. Rindy had the pictures, Norma had the knowledge, and I had done a book before, so I had a little experience. So the three of us put that together, and that was the beginning of my efforts in this town. That's fine and dandy, and then I got involved in the church, the Congregational Church, and I volunteered to help start the thrift shop. You get in a lot of trouble these days when you volunteer, because everything turns out to be a job for life. So that was 17 years ago, and we're still doing it. That's the Blessed Bargains Thrift Shop. So that's the main thing in Farmington that I got involved in. Also the library. I was a library trustee for 13 years. But there are so many things that you can do to get to know the people. And this is what appealed to me. I had lived in the city of Boston, where you didn't even know the people in your building, never mind anybody else. And so to be in a small town and get to know everybody, to walk down the street and have people say hello, was just so foreign to me because I'd never experienced it. So this is partly why I think I enjoy being in this little town. One of the first things I got involved in, even before the Farmington book in the Historical Society, was the Farm Museum over in Milton. And that was because I knew a woman who was involved with it, and I knew her from Children's Hospital in Boston. So I've been volunteering over there for 20-some years, and ended up as the membership registrar, and I've been doing that. But I will always stay involved with that. When I had the large barn that was here taken down, I gave all the things that were in it, 3 flatbeds full of equipment, to the Farm Museum. So I've had a vested interest in the place for a long time. And it's a wonderful, wonderful place, but it's desperate for volunteers. So once you are over there, you hate to leave because there's nobody to replace you. So I'm still there. And I think probably my efforts will be concentrated on that as I try and get out of some of these other things. You can't do everything forever. You need people to take over. Because what happens if you drop dead? Somebody's got to fill in. So it's good to keep new blood coming. Well, as far as getting people involved, there are so many organizations and so many activities in the towns around here that are desperate for help. So there's no reason for anybody to be bored. And I just have a fit when I hear somebody say they're bored. They sit home and watch television all day, when there are all these things that can use help. So, I would say organizations, just things around town. I mean, whether it be the food pantry or a thrift shop or the elderly or transportation. I mean, there's just so many different things. And museums, every museum needs volunteer help. I don't care what museum is, they all can use help. And they're all hurting because they don't get it. So there's no excuse for anybody not to have something to do. Even if it's only an hour a week, give back to the community. It makes you feel good. You feel like you're doing something constructive. But I would just encourage people, everyone, to get involved in their community, to make yourself a part of the community.